Nothing else matters now.
It isn't real. It's not real. It's not real. This isn't the end.
Statistically, you're more likely to die in a hospital than anywhere else.
The Void is directed by Jeremy Gillespie and stars Ellen Wong and Aaron Poole, and tells the story of some really messed up stuff. Right when the teaser hit, I was all over this movie because I had heard absolutely amazing things from the countless screenings that this movie had. And then all the ratings on like Rotten Tomatoes and all of the bigger websites were actually pretty positive, so that also surprised me. And right from the get-go, The Void is so unbelievably gory, and these special effects are absolutely amazing. And by special effects, I mean practical effects, because this is one of those horror movies that come out like once every 5 years. That's just practical effects, no CGI. Obviously it has CGI because it has to, and it's pretty damn good as well. Movies like The Funhouse Massacre, Hatchet, and so many others, like a few years ago we had Krampus come out. It's like practical effects is something that horror movies should always have. I mean, ever since the old Evil Dead movies and The Thing, practical effects are a must because they make things so much more interesting. And The Void is everything. I mean, it has a solid story, it has great acting, has great blood, a ton of blood, and it has a ton of other side stories going on that are all equally entertaining and interesting. And from the first and second act, it is a little rocky. It sort of builds up to something and then just kind of like leaves you dangling, just kind of waiting for something to happen, and then nothing ever really does come out of that. The first and second act, they are a little rocky. It doesn't really understand what it wants to be, if it wants to be a mystery, if it wants to be sort of like a life, this thing is in here, how do we deal with it sort of thing. And it sort of settles for more of a wait for it, and I had no issue with that because The Void has a ton of stuff going for it. It doesn't necessarily go over the top as I wanted it to, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. It has great special effects and some awesome creature design. It could have gone a lot deeper into the story, but as a horror movie, it really shouldn't. Like the movie Tremors, it doesn't say where these giant worms came from, they just are here, and they're here to stay. With like movies like The Bye Bye Man, where they go into a library to find out who this guy is, I mean, we don't care. Obviously The Void could have done that, but it didn't, and it's better off that it did not. And The Void has some awesome plot twists at the end. It's very intricate, it's very crafty, and it knows what it wants to be. It wants to be a campy throwback, and that's exactly what it is. The Void is playing in like no theaters around me, so I had to sadly rent it on video on demand, but you know what, at least it's not like Colossal, where it's in 4 theaters nationwide and not on video on demand. So I was kind of struggling with that. And the final climax to The Void is so good. It's just everything a gore hound could ever want. There's exploding bodies, there's amazing practical creatures, and it's a pretty horrifying and interesting ending because the very last shot just kind of brings all of the visions together that Aaron Poole's character has been having. If you like gore, if you like fun throwback to 80s horror, The Void is for you. But if you like in-depth horror movies that kind of make you think, The Void is definitely not for you because it is really straight up. It tells you what it wants to be and what it will be for the remainder of the runtime.
I mean, you swing it, baby.